Apple Card is the credit card created by Apple. You earn 3% daily cash back up front when you use it to buy a new iPhone 15, AirPods, or any products at Apple. And you can automatically grow your daily cash at 4.15% annual percentage yield when you open a high-yield savings account. Apply for Apple Card in the Wallet app on iPhone. Apple Card subject to credit approval. Savings is available to Apple Card owners subject to eligibility. Savings accounts by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, member FDIC. Terms apply.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Welcome to the Morgan Man Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Stacey Cole Morgan. Here on the Morgan Man Sports Podcast, we talk Atlanta Falcons news, pre-game predictions, and all other news surrounding the Atlanta Falcons.
Touchdown Atlanta!
Also on the podcast, we talk Call of Duty League, esports, covering Roster Mania, major predictions, COD champs, player trades, and much more to get you ready for every single CDL weekend.
Scuff goes through, and Scuff stands, wins the one-on-one, and Optic with the reverse sweep.
If that sounds good with you, put on your Falcons jersey, grab your gaming headset, and let's get this show started. What is going on, you guys? I'm your host, Stacey Cole Morgan, and you were listening to the Morgan Man Sports Podcast here on Spotify, Google Podcasts, GoodPod HQ, or wherever you find your preferred podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are talking about the New York Jets hosting the Atlanta Falcons this Sunday, December 3rd at MetLife Stadium on Fox at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So without any further delay, let's get straight into today's action. Alright guys, so right here, before we get into all the action with the Atlanta Falcons taking on the New York Jets, we want to do some housekeeping right here. First of all, I do want to thank you guys so much for the continuous support. As always on the podcast right here, your support does mean a lot to me. And just like as always, keep downloading and subscribing to the podcast. We're continuously growing, and the Belly Up and Friends podcast network as well is growing tremendously, guys, so you definitely don't want to miss out, not just on my podcast, but podcasts like No Credentials, who will be coming up later in the show right here, Sports Scramble, the Lou Gallivan Show, all of them, they're great people, great podcasts, and definitely do not want to miss it. Also, I will be getting a brand new microphone here very soon, actually, for Christmas, so I will be getting the Blue Yeti microphone, the big one where you could control like audio gains and everything like that from the microphone itself. So that would be amazing. I am upgrading from the nano version right here. So that is something to be looking forward to, and you should be able to hear that on the Christmas week's edition of the Morgan Man Sports Podcast. And also, as well, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you are checking out my shop. I do get some merch on there. It's very simple designs, but it is enough to support the podcast right here. So I'll have all that linked down below for you guys to check that out. And also, right quick, before we do get into the Falcons versus Jets right here, I was recording with Ryan McCarthy, the host of No Credentials podcast through the Belly Up Sports Media Network. But we had some technical issues that was not going in my favor with the internet connection through Riverside. And guys, let me tell you, it was very just frustrating, really upsetting and frustrating, because I, turned off all the Wi-Fi, from other devices except for my laptops. That way the signal would be stronger, and nothing, just absolutely nothing. And I just crashed. Like the whole audio was choppy and everything else like that. So I do apologize for not actually having him on the podcast right here, but I did tell Ryan, look, I still want you on the podcast right here. So please do send me a minute-long clip of your take for the Atlanta Falcons taking on the New York Jets. So here's Ryan McCarthy with his take for the New York Jets and how he thinks the New York Jets will win against the Atlanta Falcons this Sunday.
Hey, Morgan Man subscribers. This is Ryan McCarthy from the No Credentials Required podcast. Here to talk about the New York Jets and this Sunday against the Atlanta Falcons. But first, please check out my material. It's you can find us on social media at NoCredsREQ, the No Credentials Required podcast. We go live weekly on YouTube and on Facebook and Twitter, now known as X. You also find us on the podcast side anywhere you listen to podcasts. Now that business is over, I've done some business. Just want to talk about the Jets' chances on Sunday. Look, it's going to be a slog. I think it's going to be one of those games where I think it's going to be low scoring. And if Stacy hasn't gone and talked about it already, he's going to probably talk about the matchup between the Falcons running game and the defense of the Jets, their running game. For the Jets defense, they got to stop the run. They got to put the onus of the game on Desmond Ridder. I know he's been kind of streaky lately. On the other side of the ball, the Jets have to come out and they have to be aggressive. They're coaching scared. They're playing scared. Nobody's afraid of this offense right now because they can't establish a run game. And they can't establish a run game. They can't use the pass to try to make the other team go on their heels a little bit like they've done in previous games against Kansas City and Denver. So, right now the Jets are 4-7. Their chances at a playoff spot are very, very slim. Hey, Aaron Rodgers might come back, but that probably won't be for a while, if not the rest of the season. So I expect a low-scoring game. I won't reveal who I think will win, but I jokingly said on my program it's probably going to be like 9-6 or 6-3. But I think the team that scores the most touchdowns, whether it be 1-0 or 2-1, 2 touchdowns to 1, they'll wind up winning this game. So again, I want to thank Stacy for having me on the podcast. Sorry he couldn't do a live interview, but I wanted to drop some thoughts as a Jets fan following the New York Jets, although it's a very sad season so far. So again, check us out. No credentials required. Podcast side, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Plus the social media at NoCredsREQ. Thanks again, Stacy, and thanks again, Falcons fans. We'll hopefully have best of luck on Sunday.
All right, guys. So that was Ryan's take right there. So Ryan, I am deeply sorry for the internet connection that we had during our Riverside recording. Hopefully later on in the season or next year, whatever, I can have you on to record a full-length podcast episode without any interruptions whatsoever. But also, I got to get rid of this, cancer of an internet connection I got called AT&T, which is a monopoly in my area, and AT&T sucks. But I have heard that the fiber version is good for AT&T, so I don't know just yet. So we'll have to wait and see. So again, thank you for your take on the New York Jets winning against the Atlanta Falcons this Sunday. So here is my thoughts on this game right here. So the spread is -2.5 right now for the Atlanta Falcons to win, but the public bet is actually going in favor of New York at a 56% public bet. The money line is -145, and the money line for the public bet is in favor of the Atlanta Falcons at a 67%. The over-under is a 34 at the current, sitting at 95%. So this is telling me that the public is expecting a high-scoring game this Sunday from both teams, and rightfully so. I could see that. For your stats, I go over overall team stats, not individual stats. So this matchup right here, ladies and gentlemen, is the Falcons offense versus the New York Jets defense. So our total offense is 16th overall, 21st when passing the ball, and 4th while running the ball. New York Jets defense is 15th overall in total defense, 5th against the pass, and 31st against the run. Like me and Brian McCarthy did mention before our audio did get, all screwed up, he did say that this would be the key to winning the game for the New York Jets is to stop the run game. So get a hold of Bijan, Cordell, and Tyler Algier very early in the game, figure out their strategy of how they're running the ball, and then from there on, you can win this game if you are the New York Jets. And also taking advantage of Desmond Ridder is going to be the biggest thing that the Jets are obviously going to be looking at this Sunday. So if you can eliminate the turnovers from Desmond Ridder's side of the ball and outsmart the Jets rushing defense, then, the Falcons can win this game very easily. Switching sides, the Falcons defense versus the Jets offense. So this is pretty much lopsided right here. The Falcons defense is 14th overall, while the Jets offense is 31st overall in total offense. The Falcons defense is 9th against the pass and 16th against the run, while the Jets offense is 29th passing the ball and 27th while running the ball. So definitely this could be a field day right here for the Atlanta Falcons defense, especially AJ Terrell and Jesse Bates, of getting interceptions left and right against Zach Wilson, and also just punching out the ball from the running back for the Jets, and just overall just having a field day if you are the Atlanta Falcons defense. So in my case right here, guys, I would say the Falcons should win this very comfortably. Not too comfortably, but a comfortable, maybe touchdown and field goal kind of win game. So they're going to win by 10 points. I believe so in this matchup right here against the New York Jets. So this would be honestly probably like a 28-18 kind of game right here. I just don't see it going that far beyond 35 points for either side right there. But still, though, 28-18, I feel comfortable saying that for the Atlanta Falcons. I seen like a little snippet somewhere on NFL.com. Someone saying that the Falcons would win 3-2. I'm like, so we're going to score a field goal, and that's it, and the Jets are only going to score a safety. That's very interesting. So that would be a weird stat line to see right there. So guys, shout out to Ryan McCarthy, host of the No Credentials podcast. Again, Ryan, so sorry for how the internet connection happened between you and I today. But hey, I still wanted you on the podcast, so I offered you up at least a minute or so more, kind of like promo package to get you to expose the New York Jets. And yeah, so like I said, maybe again in the near future, whenever I got a better internet connection, we can do something to record. But until then, guys, Cole Morgan and Ryan will catch you all later. And please don't forget, again, to subscribe, download this podcast, and continue support not only my podcast, but the Belly Up Sports Media Network other podcasts.